Hi everyone, welcome to another Disney Infinity tutorial. We are continuing on with our Disney Infinity War series, and we're going to basically look at the next level of our giant toy box. So over the last 3 clips we've been showing you how to do the attack in New York, and we've created a big giant Q ship. So we've shown you those, so check those out if you haven't seen those. And what we're going to do now is the next stage, our next part of the film. So we're going to go to the Guardian of the Galaxy section. So as you'll see here, this is the Q ship that's damaged, and what we're going to do here is that we're going to obviously aboard the Q ship and then jump to our next stage of the actual film. So you'll see as we shoot these across. Now, with the actual sets of series, I've done slight variations of certain levels. So some levels are exactly to the film, and some bits that we didn't see in the film are what happened when certain aspects occurred. And that makes sense when you'll see this in a moment. So look, you see here, Iron Man comes in, he sees the doorway, and we will open up the door. Now this time it'll ask us to load the next chapter, which is what happened to the Asgardians. So we'll now load up this level. So what we're going to do this level based on is that after Thor leaves half the crew of Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord stays behind just to see if anyone else survived the wreckage. Because a lot of people in the film said, what happened to Valkyrie? Well, where did she go? What happened to Kronk? Because Kronk was absolutely awesome. He was the stone guy in the film. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and find those guys. So you'll see here, this level is based on the wreckage of the Asgardian ship. Okay, and our object basically is to jump on these moving platforms and hopefully not die, like I just did there, and rescue the Asgardians that are scattered around the wreckage. So it's basically a platforming game, but I've tried to make it as complicated as possible. So we have these platforms all moving around, and we have to jump them. Some are moving up and down, so it's a 3D multi-platform. And we have to use our skills to jump across and not die again, luckily found here, and rescue Asgardians that will be lying in the wreckage. So we're going to go through all the process and the logic of how we create these. Now, this game originally decided out just to be a quick level because it had to follow the film, so I was trying to work out how to do this in the film side. And actually this is one of the hardest levels to actually play. To build, it's the easiest. Honestly, it's really easy, but me and the girls have been trying to complete this actual level. It's so hard, which is excellent. It's really challenging. So you just see here I've just lost one of the Asgardians. I've just killed one of them, and I can tell you I did about like 70 takes trying to complete this section, because the idea here is to get the individuals to that spaceship. So as we go through here, we've got to jump on a platform, right? We've got to try and make it, and as they keep moving in different shapes, they're slightly different paths, so the platforms they vary. The longer you wait, they actually more out of sequence they become. So you have to make your timings quite careful. The whole object of this game is patience. Okay, I've shown in my last clip that my shooting skills are garbage. Now I'm going to show you that my platforming skills are even worse. Okay, so see, straight off the edge. Yeah. Now I did mention that when someone drops something, they don't appear. They don't. That's me editing so well that you didn't realise that I reset the game again because I kept on dying. So the object here is you've got to rescue these people. And the one thing I quite like about this level was we're looking at a wreckage of a spaceship, so the actual level doesn't have to look exact. It doesn't have to look tidy. Yeah, it can be half completed sections, and as long as I've got a different mix of items, it works quite well. So let's just see if we can get back onto the platform. Oh, look at that. See, that's not looking too bad. And the item here is we have to get her back to the ship. So here's one we just saved. We just saved Valkyrie so she can star in the next Infinity War movie, because we also wondered where she's gone. And there we go. I mean, that really is all this level is. Really simple. It takes a fraction of memory as well, but they string across quite nicely. So I'm going to try again. It's all about your timing. And seriously, I die 1,000 times. But it is good. I actually quite like this. So we're going to show you all the moving elements and objects, and it's really not actually that complicated and very easy, because we're not having to turn parts on or off. Yeah, so we can actually do it. Now I've also got some pipe sections on the work where we have to jump between the group. So again, we'll explain that as we go through, but it's just how we've laid out certain items. And in my second clip I show you with Drax, so we do the level with Drax. We've even got a couple of enemies still left behind, just to add to the excitement, to keep the level a bit different. There we go. Cool, so let's grab this person here. Okay, like I said, there's the pipe work we've got down here on the screen, which we'll show in the next level. And now we need to get back. All about the timing, but it's all multiple layers, you see, and they all move around, and we're just going to create various shapes, just chuck them all on, and our object is just to get them all floating around. Now you can do different styles again, and I'll explain how to make this easier, but it's just like a platforming level, and I don't think I've done one of these type of levels before, so I thought, you know what, I can show you this, something, again, things that we've all done variations before, and now I'm just trying to keep it really simple. I've used all just basic shapes. Yeah, so you don't have to get special units or pieces to unlock. And it's a really, really hard level, honestly. It's so tricky to do. I mean, I'm making this look good. Yeah, look at that, how genius am I there? But seriously, this is about take 55. Right, so that's the object of the game. We'll get straight onto it and show you how it works. Now, before you get started, just wanted to show you, if you didn't want to do the moving objects, and you don't have to, you can create the exact same thing with the objects already set. So what I'm going to just do here, I'm just going to chuck in a load of these shapes, yeah? Because if you find that's too difficult, or you don't want to worry about with the paths, you could do the same level, but with the actual items fixed. So all I'm going to do here is just going to grab some shapes, and just stick them randomly all over the place, yeah? Yeah, and the idea, we can colour these in differently. Yeah, so you'll see all different types of shapes. Because remember, this is a spaceship we're trying to pretend it is, that's been destroyed, and these are just the bits of the actual ship floating around. Okay, but just for a quick and easy level, yeah, you can just chuck these shapes all over the place, and obviously we'd get rid of the ground part, but they get you the idea of what we're trying to do. Right, now I've got the things moving, but for a very quick version of the game, you don't actually have to have them moving. So if I just go back to my character. So here we go, get Star-Lord here, right? So we've got these various shapes that just floated in space. Yeah, the object here we have to jump across, right? And you have to time your jump. So you can play it like this, and you could have the level done within minutes. Yeah. So that's just be aware of this, because when we have tried this, I was thinking at the end of it, I wish I'd done it this method because it was really tricky. But it gives you an idea how you can create the game. Same thing, but without even the logic, so we'll keep it even simpler on the level of the game. But that's the thing with Disney Infinity; it's really quite cool. Right, so we're going to do it with moving objects instead. So we're just going to create a starting point, a bit of ground, but we will get rid of this and create the hangar later. So I'm just going to create a rock. We'll put it here on the screen. Okay, so that's going to be our starting point, and then we'll get rid of the actual other items. Now, what I'm showing you here, check also out, there's a link to a Dreams clip. Now, I keep talking about this new game, Dreams, coming out. You need to check what you can do, because seriously, this will be the next thing. There's no game at the moment like Disney Infinity that you can create your own levels, your own stories, any programming. Dreams is the next type of game. You can create absolutely anything, and I was a bit worried it could be too big, but I'll leave the link on the clip. Just look at the type of things you can build. I think it's the next thing, the next place to go after Disney Infinity. But at the moment I'm still doing this, and I'll still be doing it for a while, so don't panic there. Right, so what we're going to do here is I want to make sure you have to at least jump out, so I'm looking at a bricks gap between the two, so I'm just putting some bricks in. Okay, right, so what we want to do now basically is we want to create some circles. Yeah, so I'm going to use the bricks to help build a particular circular shape. Now the circle doesn't have to be an exact circle, but you'll see here I'm just going to create like a star with those 4 bricks. Yeah, so and then I'm going to draw a path around that's going to link those items together. So what I can then do is I can link other circles together. So I'm now going to remember that shape of 4 objects. Yeah, so we've got 4 objects. I'm going to do that again. Now, I was trying to be more exact with the shapes. You could do them random if you want. So I can have these circles at an angle. So you'll see here, we do the 4 same star shape again. This time it goes up at an angle. So one piece goes up and down. So there's two star shapes that we've got. Yeah. And I'm going to do another one over here. So, okay, right, this one could be slightly higher. So, in fact, do it on the lower section. So it's going to be underneath that section there. And we could then raise it up a little bit. Yeah. So there I've got two virtually circles, right? Now, at the moment, it looks like a mess of blocks. And you go, well, what the hell is that? How's that those moving objects? Remember, we're going to remove all these off before. I use a lot of bricks in my previous tutorials to help me line things up. Okay. So what you can do here is this is trying to keep the shapes in a more rigid, symmetrical pattern. They should stay roughly in time. If you do the shapes out of sequence, then it's going to be quite varied. But we'll get out a path tool. Okay, and all we're going to do with our path tool here is we're going to click at the beginning of the square. So, and again, they don't have to be in the same spot. Okay, so just pick on the three. So I'm going to click on this point, go round. So that's the middle square, not that one. That's the other circle. So click onto there. So all you've got to do is click on all three of them, all four of them, in fact. Okay, and there's the start. So the shape will go there. Okay, so circle out. Yep, go up to the shape. Yeah, and if you press the square button here on this case, what we can do with the properties, we can just say it's looped. Okay, and you'll just see, just switch that on there to be looped. And there is our first shape going round, which is quite handy. Now to make things easier, we can delete those shapes out. So you'll now see it remains the other two stars. Okay, that's one of our platforms spinning round. And we're going to do the same with the other one. So we're going to get the other path tool, and you'll see here I'm trying to pick it at a different start point. So one I did at the side, so this one I'm going to do at this end. And when I first did this clip, I thought, right, there must be a plan to this. I must show you exactly where to build it so you can do it the same. Actually, no, the more random it is, the better it goes with it. Just carry on building circles. Yeah, basically that's what you do, and you just start filling an area out. Now, the more circles you can do, the more complicated the level is. Yeah, so if you keep it small, it's quite easy to master. But if there's loads more plates, it's hard to look at the patterns and remember them all, which makes it more challenging. So we've got that circle level going through there. Okay, and we'll do the next one. And again, picking a different location. And we go down here. Now the beauty is, like I mentioned, you don't have to turn these paths on and off. There's no very clever logic. Once the path's set up, it's done. We don't care. We just put the actual items on, and we set this through. Right, that's that one sorted. Now this one goes through the loop, so it actually goes back through this. So they actually overlap. And what you want to do is try and keep the circles very close together, or that they overlap and loop each item. So you'll see there we go. There's our three circles. And we're going to carry on building up this web of circles and keep putting objects on them. So we'll just delete these off. Right, we're going to go back down here, and then what we're going to do now, we can then look at doing some other shapes. So another path tool here, so I could do a circle that loops over between the three. So I'm going to loop one that goes, try and link more than one circle. You see here, I'm trying to work out how do I get it so I can get the paths to interlink. So you can do this here. So okay, so I'm going to put this circle in. So I'm going to do stuff. So not only do they have to go roundwards, you can get them going up and down. And that really does that's the bit that really makes it tricky, because it's then three-dimensional platforming. It's up, down, left, right, and trying to look at the wreckage. Yeah. I thought this would be actually like a silly little level. It would just be, okay, it's to go with the film. But actually it works really well. And out of all the levels that I've done, this is the hardest. I still can't master it. Whereas before I show you a clip and I'll do the battle and you go, okay, fine, done. Now this one, I struggle to complete. Yeah, and as I say, we'll show you different types you can do with it. You can make it easier. Maybe a fixed platform is quite good, but it doesn't take quite long to do. So you may say, Simon, we haven't got time for this. Red Dead's just been released. Yeah, we've got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that's out. We've got Spider-Man, that's amazing. We've got, what other game's great also? Uncharted, not Uncharted, sorry, Lara Croft. All these games that are out at the moment are brilliant, but you need a little breather in between. Yeah, so you can do this. You can do this level. Right, I've had a little go of that. I'll do a few minutes of this level, come back to it. You'll have it done within about, I would say, about 4 or 5 hours. But you could spread this over a week while you're playing different games. But I have to say, the amount of games out at the moment are ridiculous. As years goes, this is probably one of the best years. Not only though are we getting great games, we're getting great DLCs as well. I mean, I love the For Honor game. I think that's brilliant. The new DLC for that, Breach, is brilliant. So that's causing me trouble. Then Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, I'm not been a great fan of what they did with that, but they are working so hard, and we've got Grievous coming out in the next few days. So I hope you appreciate it. I've still got the clip done out. I actually haven't played Red Dead yet because I promised myself I cannot play Red Dead until I've actually got this next stage out. But all these clips relating to the Disney Infinity level are going to be out before Christmas. That's the plan. So there's going to be another one coming in November, and then the big set for the battles coming in December. So make sure you subscribe because you don't want to miss out when I ping them through. Right, now back to this level. What we're going to do here is you'll just see I'm going to create some shapes. Now, this is very important. I'm building the shapes behind where you start. Okay, and this is important because, like I've shown in many other clips if you haven't seen them, that when you place a brick down, that is the location that the system stores that brick is. Even though we're going to connect them to a path the other side, when the system's set, it realizes that they're there on the screen. So when we want to add objects or build stuff, we want to make sure they don't get in the way. So what I'm just going to show you here, I'm just going to briefly connect these parts together because the last thing we do is actually connect to the path, but this is just to get you the idea how it works. So we're going to click onto these shapes, right? We're going to move on these, going to do new path connection, and we're going to just link them to the path. So go down here, on the object here, and do connect to path. And that's that shape just now moving around. Okay? And we're going to do the same with the next one. But you'll notice we built them on here, and we just linked them all to each one. So, new path connection. Chuck them all in. And you don't have to do anything. It's just as simple as that, and you'll just see them all move around. Once you've built enough of the circles, it's just that cool effect. Okay, so this is the one going up and down on the screen. So we now have those items done, right? Now what we can do is let's get rid of these little 3 bricks here, so now we can see them all moving. Okay, so we've got our little objects spinning round. Yeah, we can rotate those, and that's now our moving platform, and that's basically all that we do. We put the items in this group. If you want to, you can grab a shape. You can then go to the properties. This is slightly big shape, so what we're going to do with this one is we're going to say, right, can we link it to the path, right? And then can we actually rotate it as well? So you'll see now that little slant in, now it's on the origin of the path, it actually slants with as well, where the others are more flat and dynamic. So I'm just going to delete that one off by accident, like, oh no, I've deleted it. Okay, so let's say I want to connect that path piece back in. Yeah, let's pick another piece. Now you'll notice here, I don't want to do that. I don't want to stick the pieces there. I don't want it there. I'm going to move it back. So first of all, I realised I made a mistake because I want to put them behind the screen. So let's just move that object back. And as I move it back, you'll now notice that I can't actually now, look, for no reason I can't put the object there because it actually remembers where those other pieces are. So we're going to build them away from the actual gameplay so we know they don't get in the way. Right, there's no gap here, so I can put the brick here now, so that's where it'll start. New path connection. And we'll link that back to the path. So just be wary of that, okay? That's important that you build those set afterwards, but we don't connect the pieces until the circles are all done. So you now see that's all spinning round. We can also, if we want to, rotate them. So we go to properties of this item. I can set it so it follows the path up and down, and I also can rotate a shape as well. So you can twist the angle of them as well if you wanted to. But they're the key things, and that comes down to you. So what we'll do is we'll just come back as Star-Lord. Okay, and then we're looking at jumping on. Now, this is as complicated as it gets. So you could stop this clip now, stop watching the rest, because we're just going to add a couple of effects on it and expand on it. But that is the logic that you're going to do, and then we're just going to build a platform. So look, we can jump onto here, we can jump onto that. Oops. Okay, so jump across. Now, I'm making this look good, right? But again, 3 or 4 of them just weren't too bad. But they should all interlink. So we're jumping across between them. So yeah, make it look good, and then you get back onto the platform. Can make it back. I think I fall off here actually. So we'll hide that embarrassment. So they're theoretically our shapes there on the screen. So what we're going to do is we're in space. We want to look like some electrical things going off. So something's broken or something's damaged. So they spark or glare. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some effects. So again, don't have to add any effects. You could miss this section out. So if you don't like doing the logic, okay, you can create this level without even doing any of it. You really don't. So it's as simple as that. So I'm just going to create these 3 blocks. And this is just so I can set my logic up. I'm going to delete them out afterwards. Yeah, so I'm going to bin them across from the screen. But again, we're just going to set these up. And we'll do 3 different type of lighting effects. Okay, so let's go to our logic section. And let's go, we need a few items. So, what do we need first? We need a button to test it, which again will be deleted at the end of the game. We need a logic gate to be our trigger point that sets all these things running. Okay, so there's my logic gate. What's that? That's not a logic gate, that's an effects generator. Sorry, I need 3 effects generators. Okay, and I need 3 for each one, because what we're going to do is we want these sparks to be random again, so it just feels like it's not like a repeating on-off switch. Okay, and again, this is me trying to probably overcomplicate things sometimes. So again, you could miss this whole part. This is purely just for a visual effect. So if you don't even want to do the visual effect, you can ignore this part of the logic. So we've got We've got a repeater here, which is going to loop round every so often seconds, and then we need a randomizer option as well. Where's the thing? I can't find it. Randomizer command. There it is. Basically, every so often it's going to repeat and then play an effect in a different location. So when you saw the game, you saw certain things spark or shine. It's again to try and change it slightly. So I just need a logic gate now, and that logic gate here, that logic gate is the most important one because that triggers all the logic that we're going to use. And again, there's very little to it. So what we'll do here is, let's go back to here, and we need some locators. Now, the nice thing with this one is that we're going to use some locators, so we're going to do 1 each, just to keep things easy, right? And then we're just going to fill these in. So on my second clip, we come back to this, and we're going to just top up using locators as we fill these items across on the screen. So again, we can just keep adding them wherever we want them to appear, so they're more than one place. Right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to have these signals all come through. So we're going to now link these connectors. So we're going to go here, new locator connector, and link them to that item. Yeah, and we're just going to set these up for all these particular items. So let's link all the effects generators to the locators. So just link them all as we go side by side. So I'll speed this up. So all the locators now are connected to that. Okay, so that's all good. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do an option here. When we press this button, so we press this button, this is just for our test, we're going to input our item into that logic gate. Okay, like I said, that logic gate sets it all up for the game. So that's the one we start when we load this level up. We're going to do a trigger on there. On output, can we input a signal into this repeater, and we're going to do the same for all of them. So we're going to set the repeaters going. So on output, can we do the repeater, and same one again. Okay, so there's our 3 repeaters. That will send the signal out. So on that repeater, so we're going to do on output, so we're going to do on this option here, Right, on the properties here, you'll see we've got it down to number seconds. So I'm going to set these at 3, 4, and 5 seconds. So they're not at the same time, they're random times, so they'll be out of sync, sometimes together, sometimes they won't. So I'm going to change that one to 3, that one to 4, and the other one to 5. So they're all slightly out of sync. And what we're going to do is just going to create the odd spark here and there. That's the object. Yeah. So we'll set these up. And you can play with different effects. Sometimes we've got little shakes on items. So what we then do from here, on repeat, so new logic connection, on repeat, can we go to our action, our randomizer. So here again, on repeat, can we action our randomizer. So really straightforward and quite easy to do. Okay, and there we go. So then what we'll do here is on the randomize option, we will say then, right, new logic connection on number 1, can we create an effect? So in here, can we play it? Now we just want to play it once, yeah, so we don't want to do it loop, just play once, because otherwise it will be at the same time. We just pick the type on, so we want a different type of effect. Now on this one, I chose the wrong effect here, so it's not the one I wanted. I wanted a flaring object, light flaring, because that burst actually does like a shake and shakes the ground, and you really don't want that. So I took, after playing it, realised it was not good because the shake in the ground made it even harder. So I'd advise not to use this particular one. But again, you're linking them to all these particular options. Yeah, and we do the same with these ones, but we now choose a different type of effect. So when option number 1, this set will be a different effect, so a different, like a spark or flash. So we'll choose a different setting on here, and then so again, and play around with this, have a little setup, see which effects that you want. But again, it creates different, one's a spark, one's an electrical burst, so we're going to link all those up. Same effect on this group, but on option number 2, which works quite well. And we set these all up. But it's the given, the effects were to show that it's wreckage and we got sparks and stuff not working. So it's quite handy to use. There are a couple of objects you can use that do spark themselves anyway. So like I say, you could just say, do you know what, I can see what you've done, Simon, great, thanks for showing me the effect, but we are not going to use that, so you can take that item off. So you don't have to even worry about this whole brick set. You could remove this from your level. Makes it quicker. I've had a couple of you ask about certain things and you haven't got the logic to work, or you've did my tutorials were wrong. Before doing a logic, from any of my tutorials, just do little mini set versions just to test that you've got the logic and the connections together. There's a lot of time when I've been doing these late at night, I've thought I've connected the right setting, and then look back, I've clicked the wrong one, so you do have to do a bit of debugging. But I'd always do little test models if you're trying different techniques for the first time. Right, so we've now got those all set up. So what we've got to do is, now we've connected all those up, what we're going to do here is we can move these now. So we're going to new path connection, and we're going to link each one of those to one of the paths. Now don't worry that they don't match with the actual shape, because when you load the item up, they will all be synchronized back together again, so they'll actually all work. So you have to go through and just link all these little paths to each one, so one path per object. Okay, and we just set those all up. Now I'm going to save this and reload it back up and show you that I do resync. So you'll now see that I've linked those all on, so they're all connected up on here. Oh yeah, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the effect. I think the effect I didn't like in this one. I said that was the like an explosion type thing. The one I wanted it to have is this one here, and it's a better type of option. So I'm just showing you. I just want to show that was the setting I originally picked, just in case you go, where's this shaky effect? I thought I'd point it out to you because it was the wrong one. Okay, so what we'll do now is just press the button that sends the trigger off. I've reloaded the level back up. Yeah. So what you'll see now is you'll see they spark, so a couple of little spark flickers. So they're the type effects that get generated through the list. And then you have a look on here, they'll appear underneath the actual shapes. Now we've got blue sky at the moment, so when we set it to a space atmosphere, it'll be a bit darker. So you'll see them, but you'll see them just occasionally just explode, little sparks, little flickers. It's not the most amazing things, don't get me wrong. You're not going to think, my God, Simon, the special effects you've done are amazing. It's just to add to the scene, and you can do different items to them, but I thought I'd show you this. See, you can tell me if that was a good idea or not. But we're now carrying on building the circles now from this level. So what we're going to do now is go back to our simple shapes, yeah, and we're just going to carry on adding circles. We're going to carry on building the circle level out. So you're going to go across here. We're going to look at try ways of connecting them. Now you'll notice there, as I try to do it, I can't do it because the shapes are in the way now. I can't now play it while it's moving around, even though the shapes are built behind the group, because they have like a double whammy. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to remove all the shapes out. Right? The shapes were there purely to show you how it was going to work. Let's get rid of all those. And I did say they were the last things I would do. The locators are fine, so that's not a problem. Right, so what we're going to do now, we can carry on building our shapes. Right? And then I was thinking, well, actually, it's going to get very messy in a moment. So what I'm actually going to do is, I'm just going to put a single brick next to each green dot. Because one thing I have noticed, right, is that when you use a lot of memory up, okay, and I didn't know how much memory I was going to use, the path tools disappear and you can't see them. They actually vanish. So I just put these bricks here so I can see where I've got to connect. So I can see that there are 4 items here on the shape. Now I just carry on building the circles. Yeah, so now I can look at, right, what shape do I want? So I'm looking at the type of circles here. So I'm going to do a little mini circle. And they can be all different sizes. And again, you just map them through. So they're like a 4-sided shape. You don't need to make them any bigger than that, by the way. I think there's a couple, but I wouldn't do too big because they'll take longer to move around. You'll just see. I'm just trying to look at, right. Okay, if I do a circle here, right. So this one's going to overlap this circle here. So it's going to go round in this scenario. So I can lower that down. So if I go up or higher, so I can go lower that. It's going to go lower. And then it's going to come up, so it's going to like an up and down section. So that's going to go back out and over the top. In fact, it goes around it like so. And there's no wrong or right answer. That's the beauty about this. You don't say, well, where do I put it? You can create your circles wherever you like. Yeah. I'm going to do another section. So this is me just trying to think of the item here. There's no great design plan. It's not like, well, hold on, how are you going to position these? All I did was just make as many circles as possible until I got bored. Yeah. Okay. And then I want to know how many is enough. So I did as many as possible, and then looked at the area that I had left, and then so where do I build the levels? Yeah. And then I had more top of it. So it just the level just evolved. Yeah. So I kept on coming back to it, going, okay, what circle I'm going to do now? Do I just do a flat circle or just one edge that comes up? Yeah. And I just carried on building them like this, just testing it across here, getting the idea. And it just, as I say, the level just basically appears on its own. I just keep doing the circles. It doesn't matter how many you do, you never get bored of it. It's right cool. Alright, so there's 2 circles I've got there. And then we build this up. So let's go back to my path tool. And I thought I'd keep this in to show you, because it just shows you, you just mosey along, get the settings you want. Let's do our circle thing again, so we'll do this. So this is going to go up. And then it goes back down. And then it goes back up. And they don't have to go inside each other either. They can be all separate because you're jumping between them. See, I thought when I first did this, they have to be interlocked and go over the top. It doesn't really matter. They can stay completely out of one on one level, one on another, because it's all in 3D. It doesn't really matter. In my head, I thought they had to be interlocking. It really didn't need to be. Right, I'll do the same with the next one. So although you get the gist of it, I just thought I'd show the length of this, me doing this particular part, and just showing, right, let's play, where should we play this, the next one, where should it look? And the nice thing is you can't get this wrong. It all comes down to your level. So every time you create this, it's going to be different. It's not going to be exactly the one I've done. This is going to be your creation. Yeah. And this is what I like about Disney Infinity. It's just so good. It is honestly so good. But there you go. That's our circle. So I can now do another one that links between the two. So I can now delete these shapes out. Okay, so we can connect another shape between the two there. So I'm looking at one of the options we've got. That's just like a weird saucer type circle, like a bent coin. So my basic shapes, go back to my basic shapes. Where's my green box? That's not green. That's me being a numpty, put it in the wrong place there, so let's just flag those. So where those bricks start. So if you ever say some of my levels are too complicated, this is the level for you. Because I can tell you, it's the easiest to build, it's the hardest to play. Yeah? I stress you that. I mean, I try and keep me from not swearing, but I can go and tell you that there was a lot of swearing trying to generate the gameplay clip. Now I promised myself that I had to finish this clip because I had this clip created. I just hadn't done the voiceover for it, and I thought, right, I've got to do the voiceover. Red Dead's out, and so as a thing to say, right, because as soon as I start playing Red Dead, it's going to be a while. So I thought, right, no, I'm not going to play Red Dead until I've done the voiceover for this. So Red Dead is out. I've actually got the box in front of me, yeah, but I'm not playing that until I've done this particular voiceover. But it's still such a good game, and I have to say the level was so much fun. And there isn't a game like this that allows you to create your own levels. And if there are any dads watching this, if your kids can do this, it is programming. What you don't realise, you're showing them programming. Yeah, the design tools of this is absolute genius. And so many parents tell me, oh, they play too many games. This is creativity. This is using their brains. This is getting there using 3D perspectives, working out logic series that helps them with maths. Absolutely, honestly, this is fantastic. We don't use any numbers in here, but it's plotting and things like this for maths is actually brilliant. Can't get a better application. And the other classic thing here is that the biggest growing industry at the moment in work-wise, not to be too serious about work, is the gaming industry. Yeah, so a skill to learn is definitely how to build games. Yeah, because that's where more jobs are going. Okay, it's the biggest growing part. It's making money. Just think of how many money GTA has made. It's over 6 billion. So it's the industry to be in. Yeah, I've missed it. I'm too old now, so I have to do these things. Pretend I'm a developer. But honestly, this is awesome. I still love playing this game. Okay, so we've got more circles appearing. Right, so we're going to just speed this up now. So this is how we go through and just plot the shapes and the links and keep them all linking in together. Right, so here we go. Here's even more I've done now. So you'll see even more circles connecting through, more loops. And, by the way, keep saving as you go across. Yeah, you definitely don't want to get this to crash. Yeah, so as you go across, save those particular items. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to create a object of shapes. Okay, and I did this on my Echo base level. So what I'm going to do now is, so we're going to build some levels that are going to be scattered around the place. So what I've got here is I've got different tools that I want to use. So I'm creating like a palette of colours and objects. Because the menu system is a bit padded, I'm not sure which one I'm going to use on the screen. I'm just going to load in a load of objects that I want to use on my levels. So things that I quite like. So I like some rubbles, they're in different locations. So I've got some in the Star Wars levels, under buildings, a couple of platforms, those big platforms there. Some I use, some I don't. Yeah. But you're just going to go across here and you're going to pick different items out. So I'm just looking through different items. If I go to my building set, there's some lovely stuff in the buildings. We go through here. Right, so in the building part we've got these little pipelines, we've got these tubes, we've got those lifts. I was going to use some pipes to climb, but the pipes didn't actually work. You can basically, I was going to get you to jump up and down different levels, but you do, when you go on them, you can't just hang there. It zooms up. So although I put them in here, I changed my mind. But we have these objects. Love these. You'll see here I go to town on those pipes. The rubble sections there's good. So we're going to chuck them all out so I don't have to look at them. So that what I can do is I can pick them up and then use them again in the platforms. It's quite a quick way of doing it, and it's also what shape should I do next? Because sometimes you can lose hours on various shapes. So what I thought I'd do here is chuck all the different shapes that I want now. This is another one of my favourite ones because this one actually does spark. So sometimes if you don't do my light tool, that's quite a good one to use. We just chuck them all out. Okay, now the other one we've got here is that I've got a whole level on hidden objects. The what's the other, the tree options. I've got confused here. But if you go to the tree options, where are they? There we go. With these fantasy terrain, these actual items, yeah, you'll notice here, I've got like Death Star options. You say, well, how's he get those arms there? These fantasy objects. When you click onto them, yeah, it's just a tree. Yeah, but when you go across them, you can change the color of them, and instead of changing the color, it changes what the object type is. So there are some from Guardians of the Galaxy and the Star Wars ones, and in this particular case, this is the Star Wars hanger arms, which I've already set the theme to already, and I wanted to use those. So I've set those up. So I'm going to go to this object here. As I flick through here to this one across, you'll see here we've got some Asgardian arches. I like these. Strangely enough, I didn't use them. So you can just set the color of the objects. So those fantasy shapes we set, so you can set them up or where we want to use, which ones you're going to use, and there's some great ones. That circle entrance that you saw me do, that is actually one of those shapes. We used one of those earlier on, and now what we can do is go and build our platform, and we're going to choose whereabouts we want these platforms to appear. So we can either do the platforms that are lower or higher, that doesn't matter, so we can set those all up. So we can just looking around, I'm trying to work out where do I want this item to go. How do I want these placed? And when we get the level built in, we'll then can add some more circles if needed. So what we're going to do here is I'd like the hanger options to appear. Okay, which we've got. So I'm going to think, actually, why don't we create this level over this part? And again, these levels, there's no exact science. So I was going to do a diagram showing you these, but again, you design how you want. It's just going to be a square level on the screen. So I've gone down here, I've gone down to my basic shapes, and I'm just going to build one of these levels, and you can do your own variation. So let's get a platform bar. Okay, there's the platform. We'll connect those up to it. So we're looking jump distance wise. Again, thinking about jumping from that object. It's got to be able so I can reach it. Okay, so I'm now creating this little T shape, which you saw from the clip. So there, that's all that is. Yeah. Then I'm just going to put these shapes on. And what I also like about it is like it's a ship that's been destroyed, so it doesn't have to look correct. It doesn't have to look polished and all perfect like a spaceship. It's the wreckage, so it actually works quite well. So I was looking, just playing around where the different positions. Do I want it that way around? How do I want it? So I want it that on the inside. Okay, and then we're just going to build some walls up on it as well. The walls don't have to be complete, so we'll bring those items across. So you'll see here we've got little platforms here where we can jump across. This works quite well. Right, so what I can do here is I can go and grab these items. First of all, let's change the flooring, because there's that tile fall that we've got. Okay, so we'll do that, so that's quite cool. Now, although this is quite a small platform, you saw at the beginning of the game, it was actually quite a large block, which wasn't too bad. Right, so we're now carrying on with here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab some shapes from this side. So right, okay, what do we want? I want some groundwork. Right, I have one of these brickworks here. So this platform here is quite good, used from Death Stars, but we'll have that as a back wall. So you click onto it, click X to set. So you see, I click on it once to move it, and then I exit to set it, and then it's stuck with that tool. So I can now position the next one across. So again, just going to show you different walls here. And I'm going to go in more detail on this level, but the rest all sit the same, right? And again, it's positioning where it more comes to it. So as you'll see me just build the level up, what I wanted to do here is I wanted to build a number of different levels at different heights. There's one in the middle down below. There's one I'm going to build behind this so that you can't get to it without using the pipework at the side, so there wasn't an easy route. There's going to be one up high up on the side. So I'm going to move them all around so they're in different positions. Yeah, but again, it's just so you can then work out the level. And I wanted them all in different places. So there's 5 levels, yeah, all on different heights. So therefore, I've got to use the bricks accordingly to get to them. Alright, so I've now got some bricks in there. So what I can do now is let's bring in some rubble. So okay, let's have a quick look. So what rubble should we use? So I'll grab that rubble there, quite like that. So let's grab that. Press X. So X to confirm it to store where it is. And then we can move this back up and say, right, where do we want this? And I can place that hanging on there. Yeah, come on. That one. Again, I've got to think I've got to be able to walk around it, so I had that over the top. Yeah, you could do another piece over if you wanted to. Alright, and also sometimes when you've selected the tool, you're in that route, so I can switch back because I'm in that particular setting. The water's leaking. I'll stick that there. Right, these tools that I love. Now sadly you can't fit them on there because I've got I proposed this shape. So I can do them on the back of it, but I can't do it on that box. It won't fit on there exact. Yeah, probably on that one it would do. So we'll add that in a mo. Yeah, we can put that a little bit, but I quite like those, and we can position those across. So we could do these hanging over the edge of the corners. So what we're going to do here is just going to do the bottom part. Okay, so the platform was too thin for me, so what I thought to do is just do a couple of these bricks underneath it, just to give it like a bit of like they're still pillars. So I think of doing that option, and I found a texture which is really good called road, and that gives it like a bit like more of a concrete effect. So that was the colour I used. So I'm just putting some shapes here on the end, and again, you'll see on some of these I haven't got them all exact. I've just left them some bricks, some slightly different shape, because remember it's floorboards that are broken apart. It doesn't have to be spot on. So look here, it doesn't have to be a nice finished end. Yeah, it can look messy. Right, that's the whole purpose of it. It doesn't have to be complete. Again, another reason why I liked to be able to do these type of levels. Also, what I do here, if you're on the edge and you jump and you don't make it, you may slide off. Yeah, so that was the thinking on that one. Yeah, and I'm thinking, yeah, do I want it to hang off? Again, it's just playing around with the shapes. That one I did the opposite way around, because I might have thought, no, I do want to hang, so I did it the other way around. So it said that you can't. It goes like that there on the screen. Which now allows me to go, right, I can change that item. I can go back to these little groups, pick the palette, so I don't have to go back, press X, and now I'm in that palette range. So move them back up, and now I can stick these on the edge. So where do I want these hanging off? So I can have one here, and I can have one on the other side, because they spark as well, which is good. Okay, what else we got there? Yeah, I can pinch that one as well. And like I say, just build these up, just slowly build them. So I couldn't do that, so I did that on the back of it. It just adds to the cool effect. Yeah, so I was thinking, well, okay, what I'm going to do here is I might build some brickwork on those tiles. So you'll see I've got that floating in the air, which you go, no. But what we will do, we'll get some flat tiles and just do a mishmash. So you can't get this level wrong, yeah, because the level's never finished. It's never a completed ship. It's just broken bits and pieces. So whatever you put together is always going to be right. The only thing you're going to find annoying in this is that you can't actually play it because it's too tricky. Or it might be that you're just got normal skills and realise that it's just my platforming that is pants. But there you go. That's our particular level as it starts building up. And like I say, we'll put another object down over here. We're going to put one up above. Yeah, one down in the middle, and we're going to just position them in different places. So that was the idea. So we just build the level up, keep building the platform across. Yeah, and I mentioned here the color text that we use. If we go back, is this road one? I didn't think it looked too bad actually, because you've got different colors to choose. Where is it? Somewhere along here. I looked at Asgardian and stuff, thinking it was Asgardian. It did look right. So did that? Yeah, that looks wrong. Right. But where is it? It's all this bubbly effect that I thought was quite good. Come on, where are you? There it is. Keep going. Nope. That's the one. Do the road. And I thought that looks quite good. Look a bit like a concrete thing. Right, well that's it really for our first stage. It's just building the level up. Yeah, I'm just going to now show you it with the platforms made. But it's build the levels up, add circles to it, and keep building circles to it until you keep adding to those actual items. So you'll see I'm just setting these up here. We'll speed this development up just to show how I tidy this object up here on the screen. And you're just going to add these to it. There's nothing clever on it at all. You just build your levels, set how you want it to appear. Really easy to do. Yeah. And I'll just speed this up. So that was my end result. So I created a couple of pillars coming out the side. I put the little business corner platforms on the side here. So you see the little corner platforms here, which I quite did. Yeah. So I did that because then what I wanted to do is I then did some pipe work. And don't make sure those pipe works too wide. Only do a single gap because they're really hard. And I created another level behind it, similar thing again. And that level there could only be got through via the pipe work, so you can only go that way. And then I added a single route to go back, so there was only one way back, because you can't go back on the pipe. So only way back where you had to jump over the top. These bricks were too far away, so you wouldn't be able to jump from here to the actual item. So I set that so you couldn't do that. So that was one option I've done there on the screen, which I quite liked. So there was another level down hidden behind the screen. We then put these other two levels in. So I've got a high one. So this is one, just another shape at the side, slightly different shape. That's all I've done to it. Each of these platforms, by the way, which is quite crucial, you cannot jump from one to the next. So I made sure I couldn't jump to the other side. It wouldn't let me do it. You would die. You had to use the block. So they had to be far enough away that you can't make it. And that's quite cool. So because I create this level with like a staircase going up, so you can go up the stairs. And by the way, they fall down here. And then you had to make sure there was a circle that could jump onto it. So I added that circle afterwards, so then you can jump onto the platform across. Again, just different types of effects. And again, none of these are right or wrong. These are how you want to build them. You see I've added more circles in across and more circles, and I created another here. So I've added more pits just to complete the route. And then I've done another one at the top. And again, I had to create a big circle. And this is, you'll show that it doesn't actually have to be a circle. It goes across the screen and then up, which is quite handy. Yeah, and I quite like the pillars on there. I had the pillars underneath the ground. I quite like that effect. That was quite good. When you look it up, you can see underneath it. So I quite like little pillars. You can't do anything with them. And I had that quite big. Now I could have. My original idea was to do like a boss fight on here, but I got carried away. I thought, nah, the platform is too much. Well, that is the basis of your level set up and done. So we're going to look at the next clip and joining these items together and adding the enemies. Thanks for watching. See you later.